So I recently purchased off of eBay this HO Roundhouse box cab, unpowered. I've already kind of taken it apart a little bit and uh, and took off the box here. A lot of glue applied to this model. I took out the windows. They had some acetate windows in there, which I'll probably replace out. Um, and I may be repainting this. I don't know. This is a neat look, but I don't know if I'll touch it up or just repaint it. Um, it had some plastic housings, as you can see right up here for the lights, but I removed those too. It's a bit messy right now, but I have plans to redo this area. Maybe put a panel over these semi-melted glued areas on both sides. We have a few scratches here, but those can be easily touched up too after painting. And then it's missing like a smokestack here, which I think was there. But these are some of the things I'm looking at right now. May repaint the roof for sure. I think so. But overall, it had some blemishes. I knew that purchasing it, but I could not find currently one of these used that was motorized. But I am going to be installing Stanton drives, which, it's the whole wheel. They're track powered and they have motors. I'm going to start with one. They're fairly expensive, but I'm going to start with installing one motorized truck, and then the other one will just have track power also. So they'll both have track power, but just one motor. But online, I've seen other guys do this, and it's a project I want to tackle too. And these are just so neat. So we'll see. I don't plan on this pulling a ton of cars as a switcher to begin with, but it's got good weight. So if I find the one motor truck is struggling, then I probably will get two. But for now, we're going to start with just the one. Currently removing all the decals that were on it. This side, they're all gone. Took them all off. Pretty clean, not too bad. I still got some cleaning up to do. I think once I get all these decals off, I'm going to deep clean this from all the dust, as you can see, and residue on it. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to probably sand these little light fixture areas that I told you they had a plastic thing on. I don't know quite what that was, but I didn't like it. It was definitely not the original that I've seen on others. So just as a little preview, I'm going to be creating some light fixtures of my own. I'm going to have these little panels here that will cover up those rough spots there above the door. And I think I found a little fixture for the smokestack too. This guy right here, you can see him here. He might go there, and I'm just kind of roughing up some ideas. Okay, so I'm back. Done a lot of cleanup to this guy. Washed him in some soapy water, then I got out the isopropyl alcohol, only 70%, kind of got it into the grooves best I could, went back with a toothbrush. I was thinking about submerging this, but there's really no paint to strip. I think there was just a lot of either built up dust or a little bit of chalk weathering that somebody had applied in the past with, but this is where I'm at. But what I did do, I did apply my new little smokestack right there. All right. And so far, these are my light housing areas. I drilled a hole through so it goes into the cab, so the LEDs could come out to here Okay, let's just leave this here. This little cap, okay, will end up going right onto the top of that right there. You can see that. We'll glue that in place. Once again, hard to show you exactly how it's going to look yet, but here, let me just put it right there for now. That cap will be painted on the outside and here too. But the LED will sit inside of this, and we'll paint just the sides and leave the front clear so that we still have a light. Okay, so I'm back. Just got through priming. This is the bottom metal chassis part here, with the little step ladders front and back. So got that all primed and set. Did the trucks too, because when I do put those truck drives on, they do not have this detail, so I may be probably going to be cutting these off and gluing them to the sides, but I won't know until I get those Stanton drives. With all the work I've done here, as far as cleaning it up and putting some more details on, we are looking pretty good. Masked off the areas of the side walls of this box cab. We're all primed, but I'm going to paint the roof and this bottom portion trim along with the step ladders and the trucks. All this color here, metallic black. So I'm back in from painting, pulled all the masking tape back off. Not too bad. So if it was going to have white walls, it would be done, but it's not. And the masking came out pretty darn clean. Pretty clean there. Very, very happy with the way that turned out. Okay, so here is the painted product so far. Got the German gray on the walls, and this is all Tamiya, by the way. So we're talking TS4, okay, for the side walls of this box cab. German gray, TS4, Tamiya can. This stuff's amazing. I received my Stanton drives for this guy, but the paint is all dry, as you can see here. Really digging the color. The German gray dried even darker, like I had hoped. This was the color I wanted, not in that last photo, that last video and photo I posted. So we're gonna put this aside, all right? And now we got to look at this. So we're going to have to drill holes, which I'm going to have to do off camera. But before doing that, these are the Stanton drives I received. These are the ones I'm using here for this project. Right here from Northwest Shortline. Here it is. So the motor right inside of there. Look at that, you see it in there? I'll have to look at what is what, but I do see the typical orange and gray for motor and red and black for track power. So there's the motor one, okay. I have this one, which has the same item number, but with the letter D after it. This has no motor, as you can see. Same wheelbase, same everything. I see. So, so here you have it. This is one without the motor inside. So, we're going to drill some holes so these can come right up and underneath. Just like that. Okay, so after reading the directions on these Stanton drives, I do have to locate the center position to locate the exact spot for these trucks to go under. So what I did off camera was I took some gloss paint, put it on a toothpick, and sent it through these existing holes here to get at least a mark underneath there, because these were where the original trucks were screwed in. These guys here, okay, they went right into here like that. So that's what I did. Now I'm going to get these screws off of here and let's see what happens. Now I need to see if my little marks actually worked. I don't see it on this side. Oh, I do. Now I see it on this side, and that's not good. Kind of a bummer, because it's coming right in here. And we already have a hole right there. Now I don't think we can use that farthest hole. That would, no, that's gonna get in the way. We gotta go here, or we're gonna have to cheat it in just a little bit. So I'm in the process of cutting off these coupler housings that they have on these drives. Just taking gonna score a few times here with an X-Acto blade and then bend up, wiggle a little bit, and crack it right off. So that's how you do that. I tried the couplers and I don't like, I'm not liking the length of the ones that were sent with this through eBay. They come out to here, but we're gonna need a different solution because my couplers don't go back that far anyway. But as you can see, this area here, that's cutting too far in for these drives, if you ask me. So I'm gonna take a look at that next. Okay, so it took a little bit, but I have all my holes drilled. Got one here, here. These are for the drive axis, and they're fitting in pretty good. I got a little bit of wiggle room. I don't know how much we're gonna need, because once it's tightened and it's flattened on there, we'll see what we got. But they're fitting nice and comfortably, not too tight, but just enough to get it up there and support it. And then this hole was already here, and I drilled a second larger hole about the same size right here. I'm going to need to file some of this down. Well, not some, well, yeah, all of it, but especially the one here for the these here for the wires, because we don't want them cutting in after a while of moving and spinning around for years. But that's where we're at. The next thing I need to do is, like I said, file these down, and then these have these little nuts on the top. We're going to take all of those off, and the first nut will be the one to snug it, and then the one on top tightens it. But I'm gonna have to see this extra nut I may need. They're there to gauge the height of your coupler. So that'll be next. Okay, so the drives, the Stanton drives are in, and the wires have been fed up through. Both nuts are tightened together as the directions state, with a little bit of wiggle room. Took a little bit of work there, but I think we're good. Fortunately, we are to the right height here, coupler wise. Looking good. So that's not an issue. On the underside here, I want to show you, I had to redo, I used brand new Katy coupler boxes here. I had to take a little bit bigger drill bit for both the bottom and the top of the box so that the screw could fit right through. All right, well, we got our decoder. It's a Locksound number 58420. Locksound DCC. It has the 8-pin, but we're going to just be hardwiring it right up in here. All right, so we're going to rig this decoder by putting it right in here. I had like a little speaker casing that's almost flush with this part right there. So because that's the case, I can lay this decoder right in there. I want to keep it low, and probably we'll put the speaker over here. I want to keep it all low so that when we're looking into the cab, you know, we're not seeing anything lined up here against the windows. All right, I've got all the wires that came with the drive separated, and I'm gonna tin these up, get these going. Those two there. Okay. And we'll do this one here. Nice. All right, and then we'll get these 4. Do these motor ones and track power here. All right, so those are all tinned. Let's get the motor wires here. Let's grab the orange. And let's connect him to the orange. So we just bend them like this. We'll just get a little solder on there. Rub these guys together a little bit real quick. Okay, like that. Orange to orange, that feels good. And let's get the gray to the gray. Let's bring you through here. Let's rub these guys without burning that orange one. Okay, all right. Make sure that's not the white. That is the motor connections. Let's see what happens here. Oh, by golly, I think we got it. That is a very good connection for that. Okay. All right. Okay. So, I think we are to a point where we can test run this guy. And we'll make sure none of our connections are touching one another. Okay, so after testing this, yeah, it's definitely not enough to, I mean, the wheels are getting track power in the one without motor. They definitely are, because when I keep just these wheels on the track and raise these off, they're spinning. But there's definitely track power, but we're gonna have to get another motor. And they tell me I can send this back to them and they'll put it in there for me. So I think that is what I'm gonna have to do at this stage as far as this portion goes. But there's still work I can do while waiting on this, so you know, as far as the shell goes. So we will pick up work on the shell again, get some more details on this guy going. All right, so for all of you that think one motor is going to power and move this, it's just not. No, and this is too heavy. So all right, so we tested it and it doesn't work, and we're going to go ahead and get one with a motor in it. All right, later. So off camera, I've done a lot more work detail-wise. As I've stated, waiting on one other Stanton drive with a motor. But I got the wires that we're going to be using trimmed here. They're not connected anymore at the moment, but we have connected the speaker to its wires. We've got that all hooked up, and the sound is working well. We've added a cut lever bar here, another post bar right here. Let me see if I can. This one right here is a piece of K&S, really small music wire. And moving on to the shell, we've got our bell painted silver there. Our ladders are still drying. I just painted those and glued them in place. You know, the lights are installed here. Up in here, the LEDs are in. Using some putty up in there to hold the LEDs in place. I'm placing it on this little track block thing for now, so our ladders don't get destroyed. I'm sure some of this stuff's going to get destroyed, hopefully not, when I start installing that other drive in here, but that's it. All right. Okay, so these trucks I'm going to be using, they kind of look like this. Yours may be different on the box cab. I noticed these box cabs came with slightly different ones than I have, but this is the one that came with the box cab I purchased off of eBay. But I'm about ready to put on our little truck covers, okay? And the best thing I could come up with off camera was to just snip the whole thing off. Let me show you something here. So underneath, this is an existing one right here. See this? So this piece, this long, this plastic piece here, okay, in the middle, I'm trimming it right to the edge, literally right here. I'm trimming all of that middle section off. Let me put this back for now so we don't destroy that. So as you look here, I'm gonna show you that. See, we trimmed this piece all the way off, and then I filed it down nice and smooth. Okay, now the drive itself, see if I can get you to see that profile here. So this is what we want to bounce up against. We want to mount to that. So what I came up with is I have it's a 1/16 inch thick piece here of styrene, and I've trimmed them down. As you can see up here, I've got two pieces. Okay, so the plan is I'm going to glue this to here, just like so. Okay, nice and hidden from the front side. Okay, it'll be hidden. We're going to glue it, center it right in there, between those two gaps. There, you can see that a little better, right? Right there. We're going to glue that there, and let me show you with the larger piece from the top view. So if I just lean this top piece in here like so, okay? All right, we're going to just lean it up against it and put this in there, and look at that. So that ends up being a perfect distance right in here, in between the wheel and the wall. What I did was I took a look before I took this one off. I took the one over here we're working on off, and I lined this up. I actually have a photo that I'll post that I'm referencing, but I took a photo and lined it up without these wheels in it here, of course. But I lined it up similar to this. See, if I place this right in here like so, the distance between is almost exact. that little distance down in there. So we're gonna go with that. So this 1/16 piece of styrene that we're gonna be bumping off of this, okay, comes perfectly off the side wheel. So we're gonna do that right now, okay? I'm gonna set that up and we'll be back. Show you how I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna I've taped this piece of styrene here. This is an extra piece that I have, okay? I'm gonna tape it down in a couple other little spots here, okay? I'm just gonna do this right now so that this doesn't move. Then I'm gonna line this guy up here. It rests really nice on there. So what I'm gonna do is just, it's nice and level, okay? This is just in preparation of gluing that extra piece of styrene on it. Tape is a wonderful thing. So I'm gonna do it on both sides here to this first one. And so we have a nice surface. Nothing's gonna move there because what we wanna do is glue this. I'm gonna place that right on top of there and kind of get it set right where I want it. I use this. I get this stuff at Hobby Lobby. I use either the medium or even the thin, which is great. But for the heavier duty stuff I need to really bond that we're not gonna see, I use the medium. Probably just gonna put a little bit or a lot of it right on here. Just like so, okay? I think we're gonna need, I don't care if it oozes a little bit out the back. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna use my tweezers for this, okay? So let's get this in position here. This stuff gives me a little bit of time to play with it, which is a good thing. I just want to get it kind of straight, and I want to make sure that we can't, it's not a perfectly cut square piece, which is okay, as long as we have a good amount of surface right here. Now I like where it's at. I'm going to give it a little bit of pressure. Doesn't have appeared to move, so that is drying and it's set right on there. Nice and strong bond. Okay. So that's that one. Now let's let that set. So I have both pieces of styrene glued on to the back sides of these. And what I'm gonna do while they're still kind of setting in the glue is I'm just gonna grab any kind of black paint or dark color you want. I have this flat NATO black that I like to use for things quite often, that I don't want completely black. But this is a nice flat color. It's just dark enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the sides of these. I don't want to paint the surface that's going to be glued to the drive, but I'm going to paint just these little sides so that we can so we don't see it, you know. And I'm sure the bottom side here really doesn't make much difference, but we're never going to be seeing the bottom side. But these might show up here on the side here, so I'm just kind of hitting them, just giving them a once over, just so we don't see all that bright white, okay? It's not a bad idea. You just take your little brush and kind of hit it like that, okay? That way we still got a good glue surface. But when we look in from the side here, we don't see it as much, okay? I'm just gonna take it here on the toothpick, okay, and just get a generous amount on it. And that'll give me a little play around time with it as I place it, and, you know, try not to get any on the wheels, obviously. Starting to set already. It doesn't look too bad right there. This is where we're at with that. And so you could see right there, got a nice gap. Here we are. We got both sides on this thing. I would say that turned out pretty nice. And I'm not boasting. I'm just thankful that it's working. Hi, so I've done a lot of work to the shell. You're looking at the inside of the shell, and if you look closely, I've got acetate in here for the windows, and then I've got some tracing paper for blinds, and I'm getting my lighting all set up, because very shortly, what I did was I purchased these. There's male and female plug sets, and these are going to be going to these here. These are going to go to the ends of the LEDs, but over here I've already got my lighting set up for front and back lighting, and we're going to plug those into there. So these LEDs will plug into those there. So I've got that kind of set up, and I got the windows in place, and I even put some decals on. So let's take a look at what it looks like from the outside. So this is what we're looking at. So I had some leftover tracing paper that I put over the top of the acetate. I'll show you the reflection. So the acetate is the glass windows there, as you see it, right? But then we've got some blinds in there. I didn't want to do too much on the front and back, maybe just the doors a little bit, because we're going to have an engineer in this corner. But and we've got our decals on. We got front and back decals inside, both sides. But this is where I'm at, and I just wanted to share that with you. Oh, and of course, my little ladders that go here, right here. Of course, the glue already cracked off a little bit, so I thought, well, that's going to be last, because I think they would have cracked off a few more times, but I'm going to get those back in over in these spots, so it'll cover that up. I've already glued it once, but that's a portion of it. But if we have to, I have more ladders, I can redo it. But yeah, that's it. I'm kind of liking it, and I'm starting out here. I'm gonna put this black shrink tube in here, so that hopefully when we close this up, we don't see any red and black wires running through there. But that's it for this evening. As I said, I'm still waiting for that other truck, the powered truck. It's gonna be a while, but I am going to hook up these lights, and I'm going to hook these wires back up close to permanently. I mean, much as I can do until I get the other powered motored truck to put on this side. That way we can at least test our lights, and I can test the sound, maybe get some sound in it, so that when this other truck does come, we'll hook it up and we'll test how it runs, you know, and but we'll have a lot of the other stuff done and programmed. That's my plan. All right, so until next time. Okay, so I've been working on the lights, hooking up the LEDs. The shell isn't all the way completely down. These go down into these two slots, but I'm just taking a look at the lighting, and I'll turn that on for you. And then afterwards, we'll get it back on the bench, and I'll show you what I did with the little plugs. But here's the headlight. Let's see, we get the rear. Let's see, front. Here we go, front. All right, it's bright. Of course, this has not been adjusted yet. It's super intense, and it's even more tense on the video. and then we'll switch to the back, which we just did now. There's the rear. I actually like the dome look of the light. It feels very old-fashioned. You know, because in today's lights they're directional, but this kind of looks like a porch lamp or something, and I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it still faces forward, but I like how it lights up the whole side, but it won't be that intense when we're done. But let's turn that off again, and yeah, so see, this is that plastic lens that I added to this. I'm really digging the way this is coming out. The plugs are a little fragile. Let's go back down to the bench and I'll show you, but there's one more shot of the light. Okay, so we're back here. I'm gonna take the shell off and I'll show you what we got going on. As you can see here, there are 2 plugs. And this is kind of how I rigged it up, so that what we can do is unplug this again if I need to do more work or weather this in the future. It's just a new approach for me, and these small LEDs I use, these super small ones, they have very small wires, so I'm finding I gotta get a lot of solder on the ends of these plugs, but on the female ends of these plugs. But that's kind of how it's working out, see, and then you put it back over and it should work again really well. I added a little bit more detail on the front and back with some chains. You can see the little chains hanging underneath on the side there, and the back, both sides. This chain came with another Atlas locomotive I did earlier in the year, and I had it put aside, and I looked at the old photos of some box cabs and noticed that they had some chains in a similar location. So that's a wrap for this portion of the video. I'm still waiting on my Stanton drive to come back. I had an unpowered one, as I said before. They are putting a motor in it at NWSL. They just got the package, so it could be a little bit, so I wanted to finish up this portion of the video so you can all get a look at it, because I'm so excited about this project. I can't wait to get it done. However, as soon as we come back, stay tuned. We'll have the motor settings tweaked on this guy. We'll download a sound file, and we'll get it running. We'll pop that shell on and see what the final product looks like. Hopefully we get a great runner here. All right, stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Thanks.